Hey, this is Kiana James, your newest Raw superstar, and you're on the Real News Talk channel. What I said in the past before I rose to fame was stupid as fuck, and I don't share the same views as I did in my teen years. So fuck the haters, because I am reaching new heights and aiming to become the best at what I do. Retro Nick Ice Cat. You know what the fuck to do? Get 'em.
Yeah, that's right. You know what the fuck to do. So something just brought to my attention that I saw on Twitter X about the new Raw superstar, formerly on NXT now, Kiana James. There was a past tweet that a fan brought up about her, calling somebody gay, saying that how her mother should go back to Africa and leave, and saying that how Black History Month is unnecessary and whatnot. And she said these things back in 2012. 2012, almost 12 years ago. I saw the tweets myself, and she was only 15 at the time. And I said to myself, why bring up these things now when somebody is about to elevate to a new height in her career? Right? She's elevating to a new height. And you want to cancel her already. You want to actually bring up her past. You want to actually put her down. You want to put somebody down because you don't like to see somebody succeed. You don't like to see somebody progress. And this is the problem. When you reach new levels, you meet new devils. That's the classic saying. And that is so true. That couldn't be further from the truth. You know? And that's what this fan, this so-called fan on Twitter tried to expose of what Kiana James said all those years ago. She was 15 at the time. And you know, at that age, when you're a young teenager, you say some of the dumbest shit, you know? And when you get older, you look back at some of the things that you said in the past and you're like, damn, did I really say these things? Or you pretty much have forgotten about what you said many years ago. You understand what I'm saying? It's like people like that don't like to see one succeed. They don't want to see one progress in life. You think that people can't change. But you want to dig up things that somebody said 10, 15, 20 years ago, or what they have done. What does that have to do with their present persona? You think people cannot change? You think people can't improve themselves? So you're perfect, right? You haven't done anything wrong in your life. You haven't said anything stupid and dumb in your life. No. You're Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. You can't do no wrong. You're an angel. Nah, don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite, because I know that people like that have some of the darkest shit in their closet too, or have done worse. But because they see somebody elevating and progressing to the next level, they want to put them down, which is not right, and that makes you a hater. You know? I know people saying that Kiana James's mother is black. I mean, I've seen the pictures. I've seen her mother and her father, and her mum is indeed black, but her father is white. Her father is a so-called white man. And let me tell you something. Even though she's mixed, I won't really say that she's black, because there's no such thing as black. There's no such thing as white. At the end of the day, you are what your father is. Because, let me break it down to you. When you plant an apple seed in the soil, right? When you plant an apple seed in the soil, what grows out of it? An apple tree filled with apples. So technically, there's no such thing as mixing, because the mother is just carrying the father's seed that grows inside her stomach. Her stomach is the soil. the father's sperm is the seed. You know? So technically, she's a so-called white girl. You understand what I'm saying? There's no such thing as mix. You get me? And whether she's a racist or not, she probably isn't. I'm not saying she is. I'm not saying she's not. Because she said those things a long time ago. You know what I mean? She said those things many years ago. But it doesn't mean that that person still holds that same beliefs as they did when they were younger. Yeah, sure, racism is taught at an early age. And when you get older, you inherit that. Racism is inherited from your parents, your grandparents, your great-great-grandparents. It's passed down from generation to generation. Regardless whether you're with a significant other who is an opposed race to your race, doesn't mean that you're not racist. Doesn't mean that you don't have hate towards that particular race. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you need to understand that. Just because you see a black and white couple together doesn't mean that one still doesn't hate the other. Because they can still be racist and be with that person for many reasons. Just to have like a mixed kid, and then after they have that kid, they separate. Most of the time that happens, you know? A lot of mixed couples, so-called mixed couples. You get me? Going back to Kiana James being mixed. Yeah, she is mixed. So-called mixed. But she's not black. Her mother's black, but her father is so-called white. So she is what her father is at the end of the day. I can understand if her father was black and her mother was white, then yes, I could say that she's a so-called black woman. But technically she's white. You understand what I'm saying? So how do we know that her father is not a racist? How do we know that she didn't inherit all of those things that she said many years ago from her father? You know? We don't know. Listen, we don't know these people past the TV. Right? So we need to stop acting like we know these people, because you don't really know someone until you actually meet them face to face, until you actually have an interaction, a proper conversation with them, look them eye to eye, and see if they're sincere or not, see if they're real or not. Because a person can portray themselves as a nice person on TV, but in real life, they could be a complete douchebag. You understand what I'm saying? Same way, a person can act like an asshole on TV, but could be some of the nicest people that you would ever meet in real life. It goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? And you know that saying, never meet your heroes, because sometimes you may end up being disappointed. And that is so true. That couldn't be further from the truth. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like on the internet. People could act a certain way. They could be whoever they want to be. But until you actually meet them face to face, look them eye to eye, to see if they're sincere or not, then you will really know a person. Because a lot of people play characters online and assume that, oh, this person's okay, blah, 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 until you actually meet them in real life. Then you really know what that person really is. You understand what I'm saying? So we shouldn't get too caught up in people's lives, you know, in the virtual world or in the television, because the television tells lies to your vision a lot of the times. They hypnotize you to believing in their, you know, in their witchcraft, I would put it. Because that's what it is. The television is witchcraft. It makes you think a certain way. It gets you emotionally invested. It makes people emotionally connected to what they see on the TV or to what they see on social media in the virtual world. Because there's a difference between the virtual world and the real world. The virtual world is not really realistic. You know? It's like an AI version of the person. But the real world is the real shit. That's when you know what's real and what's not. You know? That's why it's very good to actually go outside and connect with people. Have a face-to-face conversation with them so you know who that person really is. Because talking to somebody online, a lot of the times, isn't always real. It's very rare. I'm not saying that isn't, always the case, but you have to have that physical contact when you're actually communicating with each other, because it's a lot more real and authentic. Just like back in the days, a lot of people, like before social media, a lot of people would go outside and connect with each other, do business together, That's why a lot of people were more happier back in the day. But ever since social media came around, it's like everybody has just become antisocial, They've become too comfortable communicating online. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with communicating online, but it's better to actually go outside and connect with the person instead of, behind the keyboard and talking. Because, like I said before, people could be who they want to be. People can actually pretend to be cool with you, but really and truly, they don't really like you. They're just out to get what you have, really and truly. So we have to be careful who we talk to, who we interact with online. Who we look up to. Because the person who you could be looking up to, the person who you could be getting advice from, might not always be the right one. Could actually lead to your downfall. You know what I mean? And stop being so obsessed with celebrities. I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. I used to be into these celebrities a lot when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, you actually see right through the matrix. It's all an illusion most of the time. There are some celebrities that are sincere, but the majority have sold out. They're not real. They're not real at all. A lot of them get paid to act a certain way, but in all actuality, they could be devils in disguise. So we have to keep that in mind. Same thing with regular people. We have to be very careful who we listen to, who we get advice from, who we be around, because the people who you're actually around will reflect on your energy for the good or bad. Because in life, everybody's just out to get each other, really and truly. The majority of people in this world, in this day and age. You understand what I'm saying? So don't get caught out there. Be smart. Study people. Go out there and connect with people. Look them eye to eye. Get to know the person. Don't be quick to trust somebody just because they portray themselves to be nice. Because everybody is nice in the beginning until they show the true colors later on. You understand what I'm saying? So, that's all I got to say. As for Kiana James, she has skyrocketed to the top. And I hope that the WWE actually uses her right instead of just drafting her to the main roster only to have nothing for her and then ultimately she gets released. I just hope that doesn't happen because she's actually talented. You understand what I'm saying? She's a very talented girl. I've seen her matches at NXT and I believe she'll be something big because I didn't expect her to get drafted to Monday Night Raw and she didn't expect that herself. Apparently she said that she was left in the dark. They didn't tell her that she was going to be drafted. They wanted to surprise her because she probably the least expected one to be drafted. One of the least expected. But I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her success. When I saw those tweets from what she said in the past, I actually laughed. I didn't even take offense to it at all. Really and truly, because that's old tweets. She might not have them same views as she did back then. She probably regrets saying all of that. She probably didn't remember that. She probably, forgot about what she said all those years ago because she was young. Because at that age, you say a lot of ignorant stuff until you get older and then you realize, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. You know, I was so dumb and stupid to even say those things, especially on social media, on an open platform. You know, that's why you have to be very careful with what you say and do, because when you start to elevate to the next level, then that's when people will start to dig down into your past and expose you and destroy your accomplishments. And that's what this user did. Well, has tried to do anyway. But I don't know if the WWE is going to, you know, say anything about it or do anything about it or give her some type of punishment. I doubt it. I don't think that's going to happen because it's an old tweet and she was still a minor and she was saying all of those things. It's not like she said it like 2 or 3 years ago. They're not going to understand, you know, because she's an adult now. So she probably has a different perception on things. And do I believe that she's racist? I don't know. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know. I like to think that she's not, but we just never know. You know, I'm just keeping it real. I'm not going to say that she is. I'm not going to say that she's not just because she has a white father. You know? Because I don't know her personally, so I can't really say much about her. But the only thing I can do is just be neutral. Because everything comes out. You just have to look at things in the spirit. We have to judge the person's spirit and their character in order to make your rightful judgment. Because you can't just go by what a person said a long time ago or what they have done a long time ago. And, you know, because that person may have changed. That person may have fixed up. And people can change, you know. So we shouldn't just destroy a person due to their past activities. That's just dumb. Because you have to look at yourself as well. Because everybody has done or said some stupid shit in the past. You understand? So, I hope and pray that Kiana James levels up higher. And this could be the beginning of her career blossoming. And I hope the WWE uses her right. I hope they don't just put her to the side like they've done to past NXT wrestlers, because there are a few wrestlers from NXT who came from that brand that have become successful, you know. But last year, you know, a few NXT wrestlers were drafted to the main roster. Some of them were used okay, but after a while, they were just put to the side. You know, look at Isla Dawn, Alba Fire. They're not really saying anything. They haven't said nothing for several months. I don't even know what's going on with them. I mean, they promoted them a few months back, but didn't follow through with it. So I really don't know what's going on. I mean, Indy Hartwell, I thought that they weren't going to use her at all, but they're starting to actually use her with Candice LeRae being a heel and Indy Hartwell being neutral some sort of way. So at least they're doing something with Indy Hartwell for a change. You know what I mean? But who else? Kiana James and her tag team partner. Ever since they lost the tag team belts, they haven't really done much, you know? They've barely done anything. But I just hope that Kiana James don't suffer the same fate. Because I actually see potential in her. And I know she's got a bright future ahead of her. You know? So shout out to Kiana James. I hope you do well. And I hope you blossom. And I hope you become the women's champion at some point in your career. So that's all I got to say. This is the Retro Kid, Retronic Ice Cat on the Real News Talk channel. Say no more. Peace.